I'm sorry.
So Baruch Hashem, today we're starting a series of shiurim. I think in yeshivas they would be described as vadim, b'inyanei Tefilah. Because besides Talmud Torah, nothing is more central and important in Yiddishkeit than Tefilah. So it's a schus for me, and I hope it'll be an inspiration for us all. It is said in the name of Rebbe Melech Melezhensk, Voram hayotzim min halev, nechnosim el halev. Eize lev, which heart? Probably first to the heart that's closest from where it leaves. So obviously the closest heart to the mouth that speaks, teaches, is that same heart from which it left. So I hope to be inspired, and not only to inspire you. So this series of shiurim is dedicated first and foremost le'ilui nishmosei shel Rabbi Yalev David ben Rabbi Yaakov, the father of our dear and beloved friend Rabbi Hillel. Rabbi Hillel divides his time between the yeshiva and the kollel, between causes that are great. I don't know which is the greater. Probably both the same, because both are harbotzes chayla. And Dr. Zinkin inspired his family all his years to kedushas Weiss and avodas Tefilah. So I think this is the most appropriate thing we could do le'ilui nishmosei of Rabbi Yalev David ben Yaakov sheyenuach b'sholom al mishkove v'yemeretz yoshor, to the entire family. The Shiur, this Shiur is also sponsored by the Mendelssohn family of Livingston, New Jersey. Le'ilui nishmas Rabbi Shloime ben Yehuda Leib HaKohen, who was a chazan, and his life passion was inspiring people through Tefilah. And he passed on this legacy to his wonderful family, and he should be made a yoshor for his family, and the Torah that we learn, b'inyanei Tefilah, should be le'ilui nishmosei. So Chazal teach us, Eis avodah shebelev zu Tefilah. Is Tefilah a mitzvah? Maybe. We're not sure. Because it's a machlokes the Rambam and the Ramban. So we know we have 613 mitzvahs, Tariyag mitzvahs. According to the Rambam, mitzvahs asay hey, and in the very first halacha in Hilchos Tefilah of the Rambam, Perek Aleph halacha aleph, Tefilah is one of the mitzvahs, one out of 613. According to the Ramban, not even one out of Tariyag, because the Ramban argues that Tefilah is not a mitzvah to say. It's a privilege, but not an obligation. Maybe, writes the Ramban, maybe Tefilah b'shas tzov. And in Mechazosh I dealt with the question, is that really the opinion of the Ramban? That Tefilah b'shas tzorah is a chiyuv? Or the Ramban writes, maybe, but probably not. Maybe yes and probably not. Minchas Osher Bamidbar Simchov Gimel, there's a separate discussion about Tefilah al HaChoili. But this is a fundamental Machlokes Rambam and Ramban, whether Tefilah is defined as a mitzvah. But Tefilah is definitely not one out of 630. In the list of mitzvahs, no mitzvah has more than one slot. But on the list of priorities, and Yesoides HaYahadus, Tefilah competes with Torah, which is the more important. So Chazal teach us in Tanas Daf Beis Amud Aleph, Ezohui Avodah Shebelev Zu Tefilah. And everybody understands that L'Avdei B'chol Avavchem is not merely one of the mitzvahs. In Sanhedrin Kuf Vav Amud Beis, Chazal teach us Rachmona Libe Boy. What does HaKadosh Baruch Hu demand from us? What does He want? If we could say on Regel Achas, what does HaKadosh Baruch Hu want? Chazal teach us, He wants your heart. And how do we give Him our hearts? Eizo avodah shebelev zu Tefilah. So Tefilah is the only way a person really could have an intimate relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And Tefilah is about talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu pleased with us, and He says, talk to me. Talk to me. Whatever you have to say. And according to the Rambam, mitzvahs Tefilah could have many forms, and the Rambam does not categorize or define what Tefilah is. So Tefillas Amida is broken down to three sections: Yisadish Vochish Shel Makom, Yavakish Tzrochov, Ke'eved Hayoytze. And you could be Makayim mitzvahs Tefilah according to the Rambam with any form. It could be singing the praise of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It could be expressing gratitude, expressing awe. Even because it's tzorachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, talk to me. Whatever you have to say. And that is the most intimate a person could get with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So, a philosophical question. Does HaKadosh Baruch Hu have taivas? It seems to be a strange question. Does HaKadosh Baruch Hu have taivas? Maybe it's a chutzpahdik question. But I only recall one taiva that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has. HaKadosh Baruch Hu mis'ava l'tfiloson shel tzadikim. Don't know whether HaKadosh Baruch Hu has taivas, but if he does, it is one taiva. HaKadosh Baruch Hu mis'ava l'tfiloson shel tzadikim. So will we fulfill HaKadosh Baruch Hu's taivas? Because the only one that can give him what he really wants are we. If he is mis'ava l'tfiloson shel tzadikim, and no one in the world could fulfill HaKadosh Baruch Hu's taiva, what he really, really wants. The Malachim can do it, because mis'ava l'tfiloson shel tzadikim. I do not recall that he's mis'ava l'tfiloson shel Malachi and Shoris. They sing his praise. They say Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh. It is from them that Moshe Rabbeinu heard of Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Leviyon Lord. They do, but what HaKadosh Baruch Hu really wants is our tefillos, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Ava l'tfiloson shel tzadikim. And it is amazing that Anshe Knesset and Doyle formulated the basic formula of brachas. We speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'loshen nocheach. Baruch Ato Hashem Elokeinu. We turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu directly, like a child would turn to his parent, not b'loshen shlishi. We say Ato, you, Hashem Elokeinu. Because Tefilah is essentially about talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the word tzaddikim that encourage their Hasidim, talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in your most natural language. Talk to him in Yiddish, if that is the way you turn to your father or your mother. And one of my earliest memories as a little child, and whenever I remember it just brings me to tears, is I was so small, I didn't yet go to Shalashudas to shul. I was home by Shalashudas, and I remember as it became night, Sholosh Kechovim, my mother used to chant or sing or say to herself, Gott, von Avrom, von Yitzchak, and von Yankov, Vahit, dein Volk Yisrael. I just remember it and it brings me to tears. And obviously, I went to shul, I heard Chazanim and Balat Tfilis, and but what stuck in my mind more than anything else, I don't remember any, from my early years, I don't remember any Keilodin, don't remember any Nisana Toikev. I can't even recall any Kol Nidrei. But I vividly recall Gott and Avrom, from Yitzchak and from Yankov, and it always brings me to tears. Obviously, as a young child, I was so moved by the fact that my mother was talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the same language that she spoke to us. That was our family language. So you go to shul and you speak a language which isn't really the way you would speak to anybody intimately. So, Reb Nachman Breslev had told us Chassidim, talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Yiddish. He didn't mean to say you should say Shmor Nesru in Yiddish, even though by halachic definition you could. But it's not the way we do it. But Tefilah is the ultimate dveikus in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'hu Amru Chazal, Ezoi Avodah Shebelev Zu Tefilah. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu mis'ava l'tfilazon shel tzadikim. And besides Talmud Torah, probably Talmud Torah is keneged kulo. Talmud Torah is the basis, the fundamental basis which brings us to all the other mitzvahs. But I think next to Talmud Torah, Tefilah is the most fundamental form of avodas Elokim, and is the ultimate veikus to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So any mitzvah we do, we're mekayim a mitzvah, we make a nachas ruach for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But at the end of the day, Rachmana libe boye, and the way to give HaKadosh Baruch Hu our hearts is by avodah shebelev, and Chazal define ezoi avodah shebelev zu tefilah. And whether it is shevach or hoidoya or bekoshes tzorachim, all are essentially mitzvahs Tefilah. So Tefilah Sa'amida, the brachas HaMitzoyos are all about bekoshes tzorachim. So the Gemara Rishonos are about shevachos shel mokom. And even though when Chazal speak about Tefilah, they always refer to Tefilah Sa'amida, but avodas Tefilah is more encompassing, and before Tefilah Sa'amida we have Kriya Shema, which is Kabbalah Sol Malchus Shemayim, and in due time probably one of our Shiurim will examine the kesher between Geula and Tefilah, and before Kriya Shema Be'berchas we have Pesukah de Zimra, and before Pesukah de Zimra we have Berchas HaShachar and Berchas HaTorah. But all are essentially the same and fundamental idea of talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that is the personal kesher which every Yid, each and every Yid could have with his own HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with his Father, and it is the ultimate veikus. And every tefillah that is said bekavana, and with sincerity, and with the veikus, goes up to Kisei HaKavod. So it is said in the name of the Baal Shem Tov, the Gemara says in Brochus Navav, Mai dechsiv karum zulus levnei Adam, Posuk in Tehillim. Chazal defined Tefilah, Dvorim ha'oimdim berumoy shel olam uvnei Adam mezalzel. Why would people be mezalzel in avodas Tefilah? And what do Chazal mean when they interpret the Posuk in Tehillim? Dvorim ha'oimdim berume shaloilom uvnei yodam mezalzelim behem. That is Chazal's pshat in karum zulis livnei yodam. Zulis is zilzul and karum is the heights. So Chazal defined Tefilah as Dvorim ha'oimdim berume shaloilom uvnei yodam mezalzelim behem. So the Baal Shem Tov said, what brings people to be mezalzel and Tefilah? Because each and every one of us, many times, probably really daven from the depth of his heart. And when you daven for a family member or for a really close friend who is desperately ill and he needs a refuah, we usually really daven from the depth of our hearts, and sometimes we cry and shalei v'mois loinin alu. And sometimes our prayers go unanswered. We davened for someone and he passed away, and sometimes in a tragic way, sometimes young people, and sometimes... And people develop the feeling, even in the subconscious, that we daven and our tefillahs go unheard. The Baal Shem Tov said, there is no such thing as tefillahs go unheard. Every tefillah, which is yoytze meliboy shel adam, every tefillah that is said b'kavona shleima goes up to the kisei hakavod. And that is what Chazal mean when they say Devarim ha'oimdim berumoy shel olam. Every tefillah is berumoy shel olam. Every tefillah reaches up ad lekisei hakavod. No tefillah goes unheard. No tefillah ever sinks into oblivion. Not only do our tefillahs never go unheard, tefillahs that are said properly, and never go unanswered. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu may answer our tefillahs in many different ways. Ways we could never think of or even imagine. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what our real needs are. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu sometimes answers our tefillahs in ways we may never understand or be aware of. But it is miyasoides emunah, we need to know and feel. Not only know, but even more important, we need to feel that tefillahs are dvorim ha'oimdim berumoy shel olam. They never go unheard, they never go unanswered. So Chazal teach us, Hispalel Udom v'lo inane, ma yaseh? Yachzor v'yispalel. V'yachzor v'yispalel. Shenemar kaveh el Hashem chazak v'yametz libecho v'kaveh el Hashem. Never stop and never be misyayish, because every tefillah leaves its mark. And no tefillah ever goes unheard. And all your tefillahs are oile lerumoy shaloi. So I once had an amazing idea, and I was so moved when it occurred to me, and I felt it's a siyata d'shmaya, some spark of, I don't know. So the Baal Shem Tov said, every tefillah is oile lerumoy shaloilam, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu listens. Ki atu shoimeya tefilas kol. Ki atu shoimeya tefilas kol peh. Kodesh Baruch Hu listens to all our tefillahs. So Moshe Rabbeinu, Chazal teach us, davened Tov, Kuf, Tes, Vov tefillahs, 515 tefillahs. Keminyan, V'eschanen, El Hashem. V'eschanen is Gematria, 515 Tov, Kuf, Tes, tefillahs. And what did he ask for? One bakosha. Please, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I want to go into Eretz Yisrael. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu said no. And Moshe's tefillahs were not answered, and he did not go into Eretz Yisrael. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, Alei al-har hu avorim, you will see the land from the mountaintop, but you will not go into Eretz Yisrael. And for many years I wondered, whatever happened to those tefillahs? Nothing. It's not only unreasonable. To me, it's impossible. It's impossible. But Because never will a Kodesh Baruch Hu have more precious tefillahs. Could a Kodesh Baruch Hu just ignore Moshe Rabbeinu's tefillahs? And in Medrash Parshas V'Eschanan we learn that a Kodesh Baruch Hu davened with such a passion, the way only Moshe Rabbeinu could speak to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Nobody ever dared. Moshe Rabbeinu had a very unique relationship with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, unlike that of anyone else. So Nevi'im heard HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Weiss not only listened, they had a dialogue with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But I think the only one that dared to argue with HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Moshe Rabbeinu. Not once and not twice. And the Medrash says in Parshas V'Eschanan that Moshe Rabbeinu davens those two kuf tevs vov tefillas, and Moshe says, Kami Yagias Yogati v'Kama Tzaretz Ta'arti, to bring Klal Yisrael to Emunah, and then how much I suffered in pain, and how much energy I invested to bring them to Torah and to mitzvahs. And all along, I believed and I hoped, Kishem Shiroosi B'Tzorosam Kach Ere B'Simchosa. And now when it comes to it, Moshe Rabbeinu argues, I was with them in the most difficult days. I suffered with them, I cried with them, and now when it comes to it, and our dreams are to be fulfilled, I won't be part of the simcha. Is there any more powerful argument than that? So what could HaKadosh Baruch Hu say? I don't know. I think it's the most powerful argument. And Moshe is not zeicha to come into Eretz Yisrael. So to me, it is impossible, not only unreasonable, it's impossible that those tefillahs were in vain. Because never would a Kodesh Baruch Hu have such precious tefillahs. Moshe Rabbeinu's tefillahs were more precious than anyone else because nobody was greater than Moshe Rabbeinu. So could we say who was greater? We can't, but Chazal could. And it is clear in Bavli, Yerushalmi, and Midrashim that Moshe Rabbeinu was the greatest individual ever to walk the face of earth. Greater than Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, greater than David and Shlomo, greater than anyone. And the Rambam makes this very clear in Perek Zayin, in Pirkei Agadom ala Masechet Avos, Shmoyne Prokim, in Perek Zayin. So the tefillahs of Moshe Rabbeinu are more precious than any HaKadosh Baruch Hu will ever hear. So Libi Yoim Ali, whatever happened to those tefillahs? This world in its present form will exist 6,000 years. That is what Chazal teach us 3 times in Shas and Rosh Hashanah. Medalef and Medalef. And then by the Zohar, Teso Medalef and Sanhedrin, Tzadik Zayin. However, in 2 different sources, there is a more precise number. In Medrash, Oisi is the Rebbe Akiva, and in Yoitzes, that nobody ever says, Shabbos Lifnei Shavuos. In these 2 sources, we learn that the world will exist 6,093 years. Shit Alfen Tzadik Gimel Shom. And I don't think it's necessarily a machlokes. Probably Chazal and Bavli rounded out the number, as we find in many different places. But the years of this world in its present form would be 6,093 years. Moshe Rabbeinu Olo Besaro Hashomaymo Shnas Beis Alofim Tov Peiches Mebriyas Oil. That is what we find in Seder Olam Rabos. Seder Olam is the first systematic history, Jewish history. And Seder Olam was written by the great Tana of Yossi ben Chalafta, and it's quoted twice in Bavli, Yavonis Pei Beis and Nidem Mem Vav. So Moshe Rabbeinu said those Tov Kuf Tes Vov Tfilas, V'olo Besar HaShamaymo, Beis Alofim Tov Peiches, Mebriyas Oil. if you subtract Beis Aleph and Tov Beches, Meshit Alf and Tzadik Gimel, you're left with 3,605 years. From the day those tefillahs were said, those Tov Kuf Tezvov tefillahs, Ad Sof Yemei Olam, which is exactly Tov Kuf Tezvov Shmitim. 515 Shmitim is 3,605 years. Vili B'yoymari. Kodesh Baruch Hu takes those precious tefillahs, knowing that never will he have tefillahs that are greater than these. And instead of answering Moshe's tefillahs in the way he expected, letting him go into Eretz Yisrael, Kodesh Baruch Hu says, your kindalach, your children, your Klal Yisrael will need these tefillahs. They will still need to endure a terrible gullus, thousands of years. How will they ever make it? Only in the merit of these tefillahs. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu answers Moshe's tefillahs. Of course he does. But in a way which Moshe didn't expect. So Tov Kuf Tes Vav Tefillahs Keneged Tov Kuf Tes Vav Shmitim Miyoy Moshe Shel Moshe Rabbeinu Ad Sof Yemei Adam. And many times I say, and this is a theme I speak about constantly, B'derech HaTeva, we should have been 2 or 3 pages in the history books, somewhere between the Trojans and the Roman Empire. And in schools throughout the world, children should be learning that there was an ancient people, an ancient tribe, and they were descendants of Abraham, and they called themselves Jews, and they were annihilated some 260 BC, somewhere between the Trojans and the Romans and the Greek Empire. That's where we belong, B'derech HaTeva. And we are here, growing and flourishing and thriving, Dveikim b'Kodesh Baruch Hu and Dveikim b'Torah. That is a miracle. That is not B'derech HaTeva. And that is in the merit of Moshe Rabbeinu's tefillahs, those amazing tefillahs. So it is not coincidence that 515 Shmitim are Ma'osei Hayoim that Moshe Rabbeinu davened till Kates Hayamin, till the end of days, till the finishing line. And that is what happened with Moshe Rabbeinu's tefillahs. So I thought this is an amazing thought. Did anybody think about it before me? Did Moshe Rabbeinu think about it? Yes, of course he did. Not only thought about it. In Parashas Kisavoy, the Medrash says, Moshe Rabbeinu davens, and he pleads with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, Ebronu be'eres ha'oretz ha'toyah. V'omer lei HaKodesh Baruch Hu, Kodesh Baruch Hu tells Moshe, Ein atu yochol lecho is a zachevel b'shnei roshav. Im ebronu batel slachno, ve'im slachno batel ebronu. Moshe Rabbeinu wants to come into Eretz Yisrael. HaKodesh Baruch Hu never said no. Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't say no to Moshe Rabbeinu. To his most beloved child, Kodesh Baruch Hu didn't say no. Kodesh Baruch Hu gave Moshe Rabbeinu the option. And the Kodesh Baruch Hu tells Moshe Rabbeinu, I want you to know what is at stake. You asked me for Salah. Now you ask for Ebronu. It is for you to choose. Kodesh Baruch Hu tells Moshe. Im Ebronu batel slach. Ve'im slachno batel Ebronu. So do I have to tell you what Moshe Rabbeinu chose? 2 reasons I don't have to tell you. Because we're here. We're not in history books. We're around. So obviously we know what Moshe Rabbeinu chose. And even if I wouldn't have this evidence, we all can imagine what would Moshe Rabbeinu choose. Moshe Rabbeinu said, Mechenenu mesifrucha shekosaftu. So how does Moshe Rabbeinu respond? The Medrash Parshas Kisori says, Omer Moshe. Yomus Moshe v'mea kemoisoi ve'al yenozek tzipor nam shel echod mehem. So when Moshe Rabbeinu was given the option, Ebronu or Slachnu, dear Moshe, it's for you to decide. Moshe says, Yomus Moshe v'mea kemoisoi ve'al yenozek tzipor nam shel echod mehem. So that is what happened with the Tov Kuf Tezvov Tfilis of Moshe Rabbeinu. 550 in Shmitten every day that we're around is in the koyach of those Tov Kuf Tezvov Tfilis. So when Moshe Rabbeinu davened, didn't occur to him what might happen with his Tfilis. And he davened, Mom Kedelib, I want to come into Eretz Yisrael. I was together with them in their suffering. I want to be part of the Simcha. And that is what he asks. Kodesh Baruch Hu responds. Of course he responds. And in the schus of those tefillas, we're around, and we will make it L'bias Agoyol B'meiru V'yomeinu. No tefillah goes in vain. All the tefillas are Olam Moshe Loylam. But we're not Moshe Rabbeinu, so not always does a Kodesh Baruch Hu ask us, it is for you to choose. What do you want me to do with your tefillas? No. That was the relationship between Moshe Rabbeinu and a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't share his thoughts with us. But we need to believe that it's basically the same. Every tefillah sheyoytze ma'um kedelim is oile l'rumay shelo, and no tefillah ever goes in vain. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu answers all our tefillahs. He hears our tefillahs and he answers our tefillahs, but in many different ways. And usually we will never be aware of whatever happened to our tefillahs, but we need to believe, as the Baal Shem Tov taught us, in Pshat and Divrei Chazal, Dvorem hu oimdem b'rim shaloylam. So what a pity it is that Bnei Odom Hazal said in the head. So, Mispalel Odom v'lo inena, Yachzor v'yispal, Kavei el Hashem, Chazak v'yamitz v'becho v'kavei el. So as I try to explain, the most important form of Avodas Elokim is Tefilah. And it really is a pity that Bnei Odom Hazal said in the head. And sometimes in our tefillahs we just go through the motions. 3 times a day, mitzvahs enoshim elemodo. And we need really to appreciate the koyach tefillah. Not only the koyach tefillah to bring upon ourselves the rachamei shamayim and shefa, brocha and atzlacha, but even more important than that, the koyach tefillah is the ultimate means of the veikis in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That is avodah shebelev, and it's all about avodah shebelev, ki rachmon el libeboy. So Be'ezer Hashem, in the coming months we will be dealing with one sugya after the other, with Yesodus Tefilah, and we will be learning B'siyata D'Shmaya. I still didn't decide what the Seder will be. Maybe we'll start off with Kriya Shema and Tefilah Samida, and then we'll go back to other parts of Tefilah. But B'siyata D'Shmaya, we will be learning one of our most heilige texts. So usually we learn Choshen Mishpat, Orach Chaim, Hilchos Shabbos, Bavli, Yerushalmi. We'll be going all the way back to the Siddur, probably the first Jewish text we ever learned. Far earlier than we learn Chumash. First of all, we learn the Siddur. So we will be Siyata D'Shmaya, trying to develop a more profound and deeper understanding of our tefillahs. And when we learn in Yonei Tefilah, it is also a zgola that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should be makabel our tefillahs. If Chazal teach us, and if Chazal teach us, Omer HaKadosh Baruch Hu leMoshe, and Moyo lahem, shiu oiskim behilchas habayis v'man la'ani aleim kilu bonu beis hamikdash. I think merely dedicating time and thought and energy and learning Yesodus Tefilah is also a Tefillah, a twofold Tefillah. I hope our Tefillahs will be enhanced and we will do better in our davening. And it's also a Tefillah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should be Mekabel Tefillahs Amoy Beis Yisrael Berachamim. So we should be Zoich HaKadosh Baruch Hu should be Mekabel our Tefillahs Bechlal Ubefrat. And we should be Zoich HaLachaz Dei Shamayim Bebona, Bechaya, Bemezoyne Ravicha, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu should send us Moshiach Tzidkenu B'meiru V'yomeinu. Amen.